Okay, so we are here, live on air. Doing some stuff. Okay. Oh, I should definitely change the title of the stream. Okay. So, what I'm going to do today for an hour is take a look at free play in its current situation, where it's sitting. Have a think about what we could do to improve it. So, just going to leave the setup as it is. Start a game. We can take a look. Okay. So, a lot's changed recently in free play. We've had an influx of options, settings, all sorts of stuff. The introduction of scaling creatures is one thing, and some people have been hitting. I should grab a piece of paper so I can note down my thoughts as they are occurring. I'm taking a break at the minute from the current grind of getting through all the bugs to actually think about balance a little bit. Okay. So first of all, I want to address creature scaling. Okay, so creature power scaling seems to make sense that it goes on forever. So basically, the longer you play, based on your difficulty settings, the stronger the creatures are going to get, to allow for the game to get more difficult. Noises. Before creature scaling was introduced, okay, so for a start, creature scaling at high difficulties cap the size. So the physical size of the creatures gets absolutely ridiculous. And because you attack from the center of the creature, that doesn't change. I'm pretty sure creature scaling needs a serious look at. I also want to make sure, because it's meant to, but creature scaling active on Ubers. So I'm going to check that creature scaling is actually active on Ubers. Okay, so before we introduced creature scaling, there was resource reduction. So resources hit a cap. Resource creatures reduce in the resources that they contain the higher the difficulty gets. And what I'm hearing back from the community manager, from Mike, is that this is quite unpopular. You understand why. It's frustrating to be taking out difficult creatures and to only receive tiny amounts of resources from them. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to slightly increase the effects of creature scaling, so creatures will scale slightly faster, but at the same time reduce or remove the effects of food scaling. If that makes sense. So creatures will be harder, but they'll still give you a decent amount of food. It might be enough. It might make free play too easy. I do not know at the minute. Other than that, I'm looking for feedback on free play. So I've been fixing bugs with the thing. And I think free play is getting to a point now where it's quite an enjoyable experience. Certainly the victory conditions seem to give you a purpose to play free play. I think the game music might be too loud. Just knock that right down. So, what do we think? I think basically, experimentally at the minute, I'm going to remove food scaling entirely and increase creature scaling. See where that lands us. Okay. Remove food scaling, increase. Okay, so that will provide more food for colonies that aren't leaf cutters. However, one of the other things I've been hearing is that free play leaf cutters in free play are running out of food. Now, I don't know whether that's a bug or not. I guess we should investigate. So we've got a leaf cutter in free play colony here. Let's scale it up. Okay, so food respawns don't increase like with difficulty. So difficulty going higher does not make food appear faster, because that would make the game easier, not harder. However, it does increase food available for non-leaf cutter colonies. It's kind of an adverse effect of the creatures spawning. Mike thinks the landmarks don't update often enough. Let me have a quick look at the free play director. This will tell us how frequently landmarks are updating. Also, the landmarks have massive differences between the quantity of food they store. Hi, Raymond Jill? Raymond Jill? Not really sure how to pronounce that. Good to have you with us. Okay. So, I think this level has less landmarks than some of the others. I keep telling Matt to fix that. Having said that, there seems to be quite a lot on the map at the minute. But I guess in the later game that doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm not gonna address Ubers and leafcutters. I think for the time being, until we can come up with something better. You play leafcutters, you probably want to turn Ubers off. Maybe I can default them to off if you no, because then if you've turned Ubers on, yeah. You probably want to turn Ubers off if you're playing leafcutters. I think this is to do with I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's to do with the harvestable resources thing Liam put in. He needs to fix it. He hasn't made it account for he changed the way harvestable resource points work, and he hasn't made it account for buried harvestable resources. I think that's what that's about. We should probably check at some point. It's definitely coming up every game. Oh, Project Zero. Connolly party in here. Hello, Pick of Death. Yeah, babysitting's quite difficult. Probably needs more balance work on babysitting, to be honest. Lots of balance work to do. Yeah, at the minute I'm just thinking about free play balance. I'm discussing the thoughts of leaf cutters in free play. See, leaf cutters are entirely dependent on landmarks. I'm not sure if problem is whatever I do, I'm just moving the ceiling here. So if I increase leaf landmarks, let's say I spawn double the leaf landmarks constantly, just double them everywhere, then when your colony hits twice the size, you'll just hit the same problem again, just further along. I'm just moving the goalposts. It's not an easy one. Murderous mantises. Mantises? Manti. How about a rare leaf landmark that regrows? Regrowth is not simple because you face the issue of you face the issue of animating regrowth. Maybe. Let me experiment with something. Yeah, let me experiment with something. Give me a minute. So I've always worried about regrowth, but I actually think it might be possible. In fact, I'm better off doing this not in free play. I'm better off doing this in a test level. So I'm loading a free play level now that I'm just going to close as soon as it opens. Open my standard test level. What I'm going to do is I'm going to alter a leaves value up and then down and see what happens. See if it's set up to so here is the value of a leaf. So for example there, I've knocked down one leaf's value to 86. If I run the game, that is nibbled. Right. Just change the number and see what happens. My guess is nothing will happen. Yeah. Okay. So the question is, what is it that's updating its luck? And can it be reversed? Don't worry about errors. Errors aren't important. Okay, so what happens when a creature harvests from a leaf? Let's follow the logic. Climb subtrait. So this is the tree. This is the behavior tree when a creature is climbing something. Okay. So here is the harvesting. So here it's getting into the cart. Here it's waiting to arrive. So the cart's doing its thing here, moving the creature. Here it's arrived, so it's harvesting. This one's a bit of a mess. So this looks like it. Generate resource from climbable. We're going to have to go into the C++ here. One sec, let me bring you in. Okay, so we're looking for something called generate resource from okay. Target is static climbable. Okay, so that actually comes from a static climbable base class, not climbable resource. Can't find it. Target is static climbable. Generate resource from climbable. Climbable resource. Okay, cart position, reserve cart, reserved. It might be a blueprint implemented thing. Okay, it looks like. Give it a minute. I think it's right. You say I could make a map. I could make it a King of the Hill map where the center is a plant that regrows super fast. So you just can't. Surely, as soon as one of you got that, it would be impossible to knock them off. Just construct. Okay, here it is. It's blueprint. It's a blueprint. Blueprint implemented event. So, essentially, it's dealt with in the blueprints. So is it dealt with inside each individual plant? It might be. Generate resource from climbable. Here we are. Okay, we're getting somewhere now. Oh, you need to be brought back into the engine. Okay, so generate resource from climbable. Gets a harvest point based on the cart. If it's valid, it does this. It updates the number of leaves, then updates the material instance. This'll be it. So scalar parameter value, intactness. Where do I get that from? I get leaves to materials, launch point ID. Oh boy. All right, let me make a new function. Okay. So first of all, leaf IDs to points. So first of all, we want to find one that is we want to find one that is not full. And then update it and then add one to it. So I'm going to start very basic with this. No, I didn't mean that. I'm just going to find the first one that I can and then regenerate one leaf on it. So if this is less than the max, I remember having trouble with this. can't. Okay. Apparently this updates the number of points on the leaf, but it's adding to it, which must replace it, I guess. That's the index, and this is the new value, I guess. Plus 1. Okay, so that should add 1. Sorry, I'm a bit. I'm concentrating a bit at the minute, so you're gonna have to give me a moment. So that'll add 1 to it. If it does that, it's going to break the loop. So when it manages to do it, it breaks the loop. Okay. Once it's done that, we need to do this. Autosave got me. Going back to chat then. You know, it would be cute if you had an ant-sized Stargate. Just randomly open up. Sending a Malp. I mean, it's not canon or anything. Just an Easter egg. Survived for a short time. Or whatever it shows the dev like. Oh, what's going on in chat? Chat's gone mad. Okay, so okay. Leaves to materials, finds it. updates its intactness. With this, I think. Well, that might just pull it. I might just pull another +1 again, because it's been added to already by that point. So maybe it should just pull from here. Yeah? Maybe? Maybe? I don't know. Let's find out. Chat's madness is wearing off on me. Okay. Testing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it every 0.1 second or so it generates extra one leaf. So, open level blueprint. Begin play. Generate leaves. 0.1 seconds, looping. Custom event. Gen leaves. Okay, experiment 1. Can leaves be regenerated? In the current setup. If they can, I can just give all the leaves on the map a slow regeneration. And then never remove the leaf landmarks until they run out of their natural leaf landmarky time. It'll be an interesting one actually, because I'd have to set regeneration times for different plants. Maybe the red rusty is the worst one because it's got so many resources. So it's a good resource to have nearby, but it doesn't regenerate nearly as quick as the others. We shall see. Again, too excited too quickly. Oh. Hey. Could it be the target sometimes no updating from the last stream? Causes a bug where the leaf cutters claimed a cart on the plant without going there. Oh, this one should start regenerating now. I think. Huh. Why is that one not regenerating? Should we see? Should we take a look? Current value is 0. Current value is 0. So 3 is in there at the minute. So 3 is in here, which should be returning. Looks like I've messed up a bit. It looks like the map is actually 1, 2, 3, 4, not 0, 1, 2, 3, like in a normal array. Okay. So that will be why that's not. That must have been leaf 3 that had the. Yeah. Let's have a look. I need my major over here. Major, come harvest something from this plant. Do it from this leaf, would you? There's a good girl. Oh. Hey. Well, that's clearly way too fast regeneration. Oh, and the leaf stores are full now. Okay. So I guess what I want it to do, if I take a bit off all of the leaves, in fact this one can be at 0. At the minute what it'll do is it'll do one leaf then the other. So this one looks like it's the first one in line. I need to randomize it really. Well, what I need it to do is it should be regenerating. Yeah, it's regenerating this one now. It's going to do clockwise, isn't it? Okay, let's randomize it a bit. Christmas is early. Queen's got breakfast in bed. My puppy is flipping out. Yeah. Massive leaf on a doorstep. Right. Okay, so I'm going to randomize it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to randomize it in a way where it picks a random one and then loops through the rest. So I'm putting at the minute I'm putting the groundwork in place for leaf regeneration. Then we can actually put the mechanic in place later. I think regenerating one at a time looks good. So that's what I'll do. I'll just have them regenerate one food at a time, but slowly. I don't know the speed that it should be at to start with. And it might be a little bit more complicated on the forest latif, the little shoots that are on the ground. They might be a little bit more complicated. It might not be now because it's underground. Yeah. I don't think the underground register is set up to show plant resources. I think that's only the surface, because the register of them comes from the tile grid. So my guess is that climbable resources are only set up to display on the surface. Is the leaf regeneration going to be included in the Formicarian missions? No, because that would massively affect the balance of those levels. And I know we've still got balance work to do on some of the insane settings, but we have spent a long time balancing those levels. Also, in those levels, there is enough food laid out. This is going to be a free play only thing. Okay. So what we want to do now is, instead of looping through like this, I'm going to create a local variable. Be an integer called loop start. Going to loop through the leaves. Right, it's just going to randomly select a start point. And then instead we're going to have a while loop with break. Oh, you can't break a while loop. Ah, it's got a condition. That's fine. Maybe a while loop's a bad idea. But for loop's definitely a bad idea. Oh no, I know you can do this. So rather than using index here, the value will be loop start. This will make sense in a minute. Okay, so that will work. Now that will work until we hit the end of the loop. So say loop start is 3. First pass through, it will look at it will look at 0, so that's the first index, plus 3. Then the second pass, it will be 1 plus 3, which is 4. So look at the fourth one. On the 5th pass, I now want it to look at 0. I now want it to look at 1. So So if the one it's currently looking at, so in this case it'd be 5, is greater than number of them minus 1. If it's greater than, no, it's not minus 1. Greater than just it, not without the minus 1. If it's greater than it without the minus 1, then that's probably a simpler way of doing this. While might have been the right call here. Yeah, I think what I'm doing will work, but I just think it's overcomplicating it. Well, loop position does not equal loop start. Got to make sure it, okay, the problem with what I've done here, finding my own problems as I'm going, is it will immediately equal that and will fail. So rather than does not equal, hang on. I thought there was a while loop that included one last pass when the condition was met. No, it doesn't look like it. Okay. It's alright, we'll get that. We'll get that. I'm not sure how the regeneration is going to work yet. But there should. I'm hoping there should really always be some leaves to harvest. You should, if you've kept up building your ants, maybe the regeneration rate will be based on the number of ants you've got or something. I don't know. Then again, that's another creep issue where you end up with just being able to infinitely. Oh boy. Anyway. Okay, so right, so the loop position has to start one above it. Does it? Ooh, actually. This isn't working. Fringe situations. For goodness sake. I'm digging myself into a right hole here. Any tech check that I'm doing here is just going to mess up. Loop position -1. Problem here is if loop position is 1. Hang on. This shouldn't be a while loop. I'm going around in circles. It needs to run this 4 times, so forget loop start. Forget loop start, forget the thingy. Okay, loop position gets randomized to start with. It runs 4 times. Yeah, runs 4 times. At the end of the loop, well, it runs the amount of times it says. Then at the end of the loop, we increment loop position, and then we say if it's greater than that, then set it to 0. My brain wasn't working. It's working. It's fine. It's fine now. It's fine. It's that late week brain. I'm going to have to end the stream after I get this loop working because I'm running out of time. I've got to cook dinner. So yeah, the balanced stream. I've discussed a few ideas that I'll be implementing for this. I'm not entirely sure how this one's going to work, and maybe I'll find some time tomorrow to work on it. We'll see. But this is just a proof of concept, really. Okay. No, wrong. This happens at the end. The break should still be there, because if it's successful, we want to stop. If it's successful, we want to stop It's only if it fails do we want to increment. This is the failure point. Fails, increment. Try next leaf. Right, that should work. So what we should see now is that rather than one leaf regrowing, it should regrow a random leaf each time. So we should see the whole plant growing back. Hey, there we go. Apart from this one, apparently. Oh, it is going. Yeah. See, my wife's a teacher, and at the moment in this country, teachers teachers are under a hell of a lot of stress constantly, and she has to work all evening in order to plan her classes for the next day. So I am indeed the cook in the household. I've got a little almost 2-year-old daughter, and she's very appreciative of my cooking. You should see her light up when I put dinner on the table. She goes, "Dinner!" and charges towards it. Alright, that'll do for today, I think. Let me have a quick read through chat, see what's going on. Because I stepped back there whilst I was concentrating. Okay, so going right back. The leafcutter mission food can run out as there's no new food sources added to the mission. For mission 3.1, that does not matter as the mission ends once the player has harvested enough. Yeah, there's enough food on 3.1 for it to... on 3.2 the food can eventually run out. Yeah, I do think that's an acceptable failure condition, is not pushing the army ants back quick enough. We do have to make do a balance pass with 3.2. I'm realizing that there's a lot of feedback coming. Certainly on the insane mode of it, it's probably fine on normal and even hard, but insane mode, the way the difficulty scaling works in that mission is it massively ramps up the quantity of other creatures other than the army ants, and it kind of feels like you're fighting them rather than the army ants. Even the army ants struggle with them, which they really shouldn't. I did like someone's suggestion, I think it might have been you, Huffnerd, of increasing the level of the army ants rather than increasing rather than ramping up the quantity of the enemies. I do like that idea. I'd like to look at the balance of that. Highly unlikely is acceptable, I think, particularly for a mission. It's not expected to take more than one attempt to win. That's true for any problem. I mean, not working towards the mission objective in 3.2. Yeah. Or rather, running out of food can become a problem when not working towards the objective. Oh yeah, I see. You've basically played the mission just as you just constantly played the mission to see how long you push it, haven't you, Huff? Honestly, the way you keep it balanced is reasonable. Running out of food is only an issue to me once, I think. It's because they didn't have enough ants. We gather it fast enough. Yeah. All good. Yeah. yeah, I do agree that we need to balance 3-2 on insane difficulty. 3-2 was more of a milestone challenge to get past colony-wise. K4 numbers. Just waiting on time. Patterns for the colony to growth. Day 1 I build up. Okay, just discussing tactics. Right. So yeah, I will be doing a balanced pass of some of the levels on some of the harder difficulties. To be honest, when we're putting the levels together, I can't design for insane. What I tend to do is design for hard, because that's kind of the level that I consider my play at. I very few missions I can do on insane. I design for hard and then ramp it up a bit for insane, because I can't design for insane. So now we're getting feedback from players that can play insane and can complete them. That should help us inform the difficulty levels we need for those missions. Okay, right. Thanks for joining me. I know it's been a bit of a funny stream. I basically had a long discussion at the beginning and then tried to implement something with these leaves. But I'm quite pleased with the result. I think regenerating leaves in free play should be good. Should help us keep the colonies funded. They're not going to regenerate super quickly. It's going to be quite a slow regeneration. But I guess the idea being, once you've harvested over one area of the map and there's nothing much left on those plants, you go harvest somewhere else and then somewhere else, and then come back once that's built up a little bit. So maybe regenerating something like one food every 10 seconds on a plant or something like that. Maybe that's too slow. You've got to think, how many plants are there on the map at the same time? If there's about 10 plants on the map at the same time, then you're generating there a food every second of play. So over, let's say you're harvesting one plant for 3 minutes, and during that 3 minutes, the whole map has received an extra 180 food. Might be reasonable. We'll see. This is going to take some balancing, and we'll put it into the public beta, and we'll see what you think. Looking forward to the next public beta. When do you think it will be? I'm hoping I'll get it out over the weekend. So yeah, I can't promise that because stuff might come up, but I'm hoping to get out over the weekend. There's some things that need to be fixed before. So Liam's made some changes to buried harvestable creatures, and I think they're currently broken. So like that would be a dead buried woodlouse. I don't think there's any on this map, but there's certainly ones on other maps. So that needs to be fixed. There's a few other things that need to be fixed before I can do it, and I want to implement these balance changes into free play, as that's going to be one of the most important things to have tested. Anyway, so I'm hoping to get out over the weekend is what I'll say. We can still find some things. Yes. Well, I think I'm only going to fix the important things between now and releasing the patch. So anything that's kind of game breaking, I'm gonna aim to fix. And there's a couple of them at the minute because of other changes that have happened. Just say that Liam spent the last 2 days working on the Call to Arms marker system, fixing a couple of exploits and making it feel a little bit nicer. So you should notice if you put down a marker multiple times now, that it should feel a little bit better, but you'll have to let us know. It pulls ants off other old markers and that sort of thing in better orders. I think he's done some stuff with moving ants between groups as well, because that was causing issues. So there should be some improvements there. There's various bug fixes that are coming in as well. So yeah, I'll let you know No, oh yeah, no more ghost workarounds. They've been thoroughly squashed. Squash the ghosts. So yeah, thanks for joining me. I'm gonna go cook myself some food. So thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.